Welcome to the UNA Accounting Career Preparation Program. My name is Greg Carnes. I'm Dean of the College of Business here at UNA, and I also serve as a Rayburn Eminent Scholar of Accounting. And in this program, we have developed 9 different courses that will help prepare you for the knowledge you're going to need to be successful in an accounting career. And also, it is the knowledge that is tested on some of the parts of the CPA exam. What I want to do in this introduction is to show you the type of content that is available for you as you are learning the material. And then after that, we're going to go through and show you how to navigate Canvas, which is the learning management system we use here at the University of North Alabama. So let's go into, you see I have pulled up here the Accounting 462P Federal Income Taxation course. And I clicked on the modules link. You'll learn more about that in just a moment when we do the Canvas overview. And I'm going to go into one of the lessons. You see there's a series of lessons here in the taxation course. One is capital gains and losses. So once I click on the module, the learning content for this particular lesson will appear. Now, if you one of the things you'll see is several links here at the top of this toolbar. If you do not see all of those links there, where some of them are is hidden under this plus sign to the right. And if you click on that plus sign, you can drag the links up into the toolbar, and then that content will be available to you in all the lessons that you review. But I'm going to, instead of clicking on the icons, I'm just going to scroll through the material. You'll see there's a list of learning objectives, so there's 4 for this particular lesson. In the tax content, we go through some of the more important tax forms, and so you see links for those underneath the learning objectives if you want to take a look at the tax forms. And then there's a video. So the videos are of varying lengths depending on the particular course that you're taking. You can see this video is actually 33 minutes to review the material for capital gains and losses. Next, there's flashcards, and on the flashcards it has a question, and once you hit flip, it shows you what the answer is, so you can use those as a sort of a lower level review to see how well you may understand the content. And then there's the study material, so the actual textbook material. So every lesson has a study guide, and you'll see there's various examples that are embedded into the study text. There's also examples that the professors go through on the videos. And once you go through the study text material, you then are presented with some other questions. The knowledge checks are true-false questions. Now, there's no true-false questions on the CPA exam. These are just provided to, once again, test a very elementary understanding of the material to see if you have the basics down pat. After you go through the knowledge checks, you'll see the slides. These are the slides that go along with the video, and so you could, if you want to look at the slides, you can scroll through them here. You can also print the slides before you watch the video if you would like to do that, so you can take notes on the slides as you're watching the video. And then there's a list of supplementary questions. And so with the supplementary questions, there could be anywhere from, depending on the lesson, there might be 3. Some there could be as many as 20. There's usually not as many as 20. And once again, just to test your understanding, you can see when you choose an answer, if the answer is incorrect, it'll show you why it's incorrect. And it also, when you pick the correct answer, it'll show you why it's correct. So that is the material that will be embedded in each lesson. Now, if you want some additional practice with questions related to this particular content, one of the things that you can do is you can, if you look here near the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there's Test Bank, and if you click on Test Bank, it will bring up additional questions that you can, so here, this is once again for capital gains and losses, and there's 7 questions, 1 through 7, you'll see here that you can work through. So I can either click on one to bring up the first question, or over here to the right I can click next and previous to scroll through the questions. Once again, once you answer these, it'll provide you the reason that your answer was correct or incorrect. So there's many opportunities that you have to test your understanding of the material, and that's the best way to learn accounting material, is just by working problems. Once you have finished the test bank, you can hit Submit Testlet and hit Save. It's saying I've got some unanswered questions, so it's just really checking to see whether I really want to stop or not. But I'll say Save, and I could come back and retake the test bank questions anytime that I wanted to. I'm going to click Exit Review at this point in time, and for that particular test bank question. So once I hit Exit Review, it takes me back to the modules. So once I go through the capital gains and loss material, you're going to see with each lesson, you will see that after the lesson, there's also a module that says the title of the lesson, capital gains and losses, and then assessment. And the assessment materials are questions that most of the authors, most of the professors at UNA are including in what is called your homework or participation score. So when you look at your syllabus, the professor will indicate how much the quizzes, what percentage of your final score the quizzes are worth, what percentage the exams are worth. And then most professors either have a homework or participation score. Not all the professors do that. And if they're doing that, the questions that are going to be counted towards your participation are the assessment questions. So this is where you will click on the assessment questions. Notice to look at these, it says I need to open a new browser window by clicking on that link, and at that point these questions will come up. So because I've already been in here before, it's asking me, that's why the first time you go into one of the assessments, it will not ask that question. And so once again, as you go through the assessments, since I've done this before, I'm going to hit retake at the bottom, and you'll see for assessments here there's 10 questions. And by the way, the screen that you're seeing here with the directions on it and the way that this appears, this is exactly the way your multiple choice questions will appear on the CPA exam. So the way this content is set up is it mimics exactly the testing modules that the AICPA uses. But so you'll go through these questions. Now, with assessment questions, notice I just hit retake on those. If you go through the assessment questions and you only get 2/3 of them correct, you actually can go back and retake those and get your score up to 100%. So as long as you go back and answer all the questions correctly, eventually you can get 100% on your participation or homework. The exams and quizzes, those you can only take one time. So my suggestion to you, as you are going through the modules in any of our courses, is to watch the video, and for the particular lesson, make sure you go through the study text material, and then you will, how many of the questions that are in the material that are not part of the homework you want to work is up to you. I showed you the knowledge checks, the supplementary questions, showed you the test bank questions. Those are completely up to you, how many of those that you would like to go in and solve to help practice. But then when you go into, and also the assessment questions, okay, that's going to count toward your homework, but you can do those more than once to get 100%. And then when you feel like you're ready, that's when you come back into your syllabus, and you can see for my particular course here, after you go through the first 3 lessons, Sales and dispositions of assets, capital gains and losses, section 1231 assets, that's when there's the first quiz. You can only take that one time. The quizzes are true-false questions in all the courses. Once you do a few more lessons, you'll see quiz 2, and then finally you'll see exam 1. Exam 1 is multiple choice questions. The quizzes and exams are timed, and so you do want to make sure that you work proficiently as you go through those quizzes and exams. Currently, there's also what are known as task-based simulations on the CPA exam, and we also include those in the material. When you click on task-based simulations, there'll be this will look very similar to the multiple choice directional home screen that we saw just a moment ago. And when you for the TBSs, in other words, do you need to work the TBSs as part of earning your score in your grade in the UNA courses? And the answer is that is up to each faculty member. Some faculty members may include the TBSs once again in your homework or participation score, but most of the professors do not. So these, in most of the classes, these are here. I'm just scrolling through some of the different, there's 6 TBSs in this particular folder, task-based simulations, which you can see. These are just a little more involved problems than you would have on a multiple choice question. So in most cases, these do not count towards your homework or participation score, but it's up to each UNA professor. It's his or her option if he or she should decide to include those in the homework participation grade. So with that as an overview, let me say if you have other questions about the course, feel free to definitely email your professor. And now we're going to go in and look at more detail to give you some instructions on how to actually navigate our Canvas learning management system.